Hi everyone, Bill Duvendack here with the monthly astrological preview video for 2023, the month of May. And it's going to be a roller coaster because it hasn't been enough already. Get cozy, grab your cuppa, and let's talk. And really, everything starts off with a bang on May 1st. Really, it starts off on April 30th. We talked about it the last video, and that is Pluto stationing retrograde. So Pluto's going to be retrograde for many months. The theme of a Pluto retrograde is inner transformation and change. Now, what makes this Pluto retrograde interesting is that Pluto will be bouncing back and forth. It starts off at retrograde at 0 degrees Aquarius, then it will move back into Capricorn, and then later on this year, early next year, it'll move back into Aquarius. So what this effectively means is you can expect more of the same with regards to society. You can expect more changes that have to do with established institutions that are pillars of the community or pillars of society in general. And the conflict that goes with that are those that are progressive and want to move ahead. So you've got this push-pull between authoritarian structures built over time versus the new and innovative. So if you're one of those people that don't like change, this is going to be really flippin' rough. If you embrace change, this is still going to be rough because you're going to be fighting against all those people that don't want change. Now, as I talked about before, Pluto is going to be in Aquarius for 20 years. So the next 20 years are going to be very potent times of social transformation. And that's how the month starts. We also currently have a Mercury retrograde. So this last weekend is going to be pretty eventful, as I'm sure you know. And then in just a few days, we have the full moon on the 5th, which is the second of the eclipse set. So basically from the end of April till about the 6th of May, it's going to be pretty eventful. On the 1st itself, we've got the moon in Virgo squaring Venus in Gemini. So you might find that even though you want to focus and get things done, your attention is drawn in other directions. On the 2nd, we've got the moon in Libra trining that Pluto in Aquarius. So it's time to look at it and say, hey, maybe in order to change all of society, I should just start with one person or one small group and build the energy from there. On the 3rd, we've got the same moon in Libra opposing Chiron in Aries, Venus in Gemini squaring Neptune in Pisces, and Venus in Gemini sextiling Jupiter in Aries. So all of that is a long-winded way of saying that your emotions might be triggered on the 3rd, and the triggering may have to do with your spirituality coming into odds with the people that you get along with in the daily life. But if you play things careful, you may find that there's a lot of opportunities for prosperity that come your way, even though you might have to put your spirituality on the shelf for a bit. On the 4th, we've got the moon in Scorpio trining Saturn in Pisces, so it's a good time to focus on that spirituality that you couldn't focus on the 2nd and the 3rd. We also have a Mercury retrograde opposing Saturn in about everything. And then we've got that Mercury retrograde squaring the Pluto in Aquarius. So long story short, on the 5th, we have what's called a fixed sign T-square, and that's a very pressurized, challenging aspect. So you may find that the 4th, which is the day before the full moon, is full of upheavals and changes and challenges. You might feel pressure. A lot of that's going to be distorted because of the energy in the air in the full moon. And a lot of this theme has to do with what you believe, why, and how you live it out in your daily life. We talked about the 5th already. On the 6th, we've got Venus at the last degree of Gemini, and we have a grand trine in water. So for those of you that do initiations, this is a good time to initiate into deeper spiritual levels. If you have challenges with emotions right now, this is a good time to make changes. You may also find that it is time to stop some patterns of behavior within yourself. Now then, of course, if Venus is at the last degree of Gemini on the 6th, on the 7th, it then moves in Cancer. So you may find good time spent with family and friends. You might find creature comforts are the name of the day. And that lasts until the next day, the 8th, when the moon in Sagittarius trines Jupiter in Aries. So watch for more opportunities that come your way as long as you've got the freedom to grab them. Also on the 8th, we've got Venus continuing to trine Saturn. So this is a good time to practice religion, however you define it. This is a good time to take an inner accounting of where you've grown spiritually and what you still got to do. The 9th is nice and quiet. On the 10th, we've got the moon in Capricorn conjunct Pluto in Aquarius retrograde. So your emotions might be stronger than normal, but your temper might also be shorter. We've also got that opposing Mars in Cancer and squaring Jupiter in Aries. So you'll notice that my lingo with the 10th is very similar to the 6th. On the 10th, we have a cardinal sign T-square. So we've got that same idea of a T-square aspect pattern that denotes pressure and challenges. But what makes this one different is before it was about living out your beliefs. Now it's all about your connection to divinity or spirit or whatever you call it. On the 11th, we've got the moon in Aquarius squaring Mercury retrograde in Taurus. So the theme of the day may be a lot of Mercury retrograde lessons. On the 12th, we've got that same moon in Aquarius squaring the sun in Taurus. So watch for internal conflicts between your feminine and masculine sides, between your logical mind and your intuition. On the 12th, we've still got that moon square sun. We've got Venus in Cancer training Saturn in Pisces. We've got Saturn in Pisces squaring Mercury retrograde. So basically, you put things into effect on the 10th, but you might not see the results or what you have to deal with regarding the details until the 12th. On the 13th, we've got the moon conjunct Saturn. So watch for people having distorted views of emotions, not being able to let go of spiritual wounds and spiritual grievances. We've also got that conjunction trining Venus in Cancer. So it's a good time to fall back on how you live your spirituality rather than taking new chances. Jupiter is at the last degree of Aries. So you may find that now is when you realize the opportunities you missed, or now is the time when things start slowing down. Also watch for glitches when it comes to your finances. And when I say glitches here, I mean things like transfers in your bank account that didn't go through as they were supposed to, or they weren't as much as you thought, or maybe it comes in just fine, but it was already spoken for. And on that day, we have Mars trining Neptune, making it a good day for meditation, ritual magic if you use that sort of thing, and various ceremonies. On the 14th, we also have the moon conjunct Neptune in Pisces and Saturn in Pisces square that Mercury retrograde. So emotional and spiritual themes will continue. And if you'll notice by now, we're to the 13th already, and there's been several aspect patterns that have already repeated, and they're going to repeat through the end of the month. And that is the T-square, its bigger brother, the Grand Cross, and Grand Trines. So the T-squares and Grand Crosses are challenging aspects which bring pressure to bear on a situation. And the Grand Trines basically say, yeah, you're talented, but are you going to do anything with it? Because now's the time to sow those seeds. On the 15th, we've got the moon in Aries squaring Venus in Cancer. So you might find your impulsiveness interferes with your romantic life. You might find that you lose your temper with close friends and immediate loved ones. And on the 16th, we have the day we've been waiting for. Mercury directs in Taurus. So that's one off the checklist. On that day, we also have the moon conjunct Chiron in Aries. So with Mercury directing and that conjunction, it tells us that the last pieces of the Mercury retrograde might come along to cause you to see your wounds and even get triggered if you're not careful. On the 17th, Jupiter moves into Taurus, where it will stay for quite a while. This is the prosperity and expansion that comes from the daily monotonous work. So it's all about consistency. It's all about discipline. It's all about dedication. It's all about devotion. And on that day, Jupiter moving into Taurus conjuncts the moon in Taurus and the North Node in Taurus. So what this tells us is the 17th and the 18th are the days you want to get to work. Plan the overtime, plan the long hours. You won't necessarily have to keep it up past these 2 days, but it's all about getting things done in the physical world. It's all about remembering that we are spirits having a physical existence, not physical beings having a spiritual existence. On the 19th, we've got the new moon in Taurus, which continues the theme of getting things done in the physical world. So it might be a good time to start a new diet or exercise routine. It's a good time to put new practices into place in the daily work environment. We also have Mercury in Taurus, sextiling Saturn in Pisces. Sextiles are when energies are being exchanged positively and easily. So you may find that now you figure out how to bring your spiritual values down into not only practical life, but also making it clearer to speak from a communication perspective. On the 20th, we've got Mars entering into Leo, so you can expect more Mars energy in your life. You can expect more optimism. You can expect more energy at your disposal. You might also find that ego, pride, and arrogance are problems to address, so watch out for that. And on the 20th, the sun is at the last degree of Taurus because it moves into Gemini the next day. So the 20th, watch out for arguments, watch out for accidents, watch out for pride and ego getting in the way. And then even on the 21st, when the sun moves into Gemini and it sextiles that Mars in Leo, it's still a challenge because on the 21st, we've got that fixed sign T-square coming back, just like it was earlier in the month, approximately 3 weeks before that. So you see how it kind of goes up and down. It starts off with challenges at the beginning, it mellows out about the second week, and then it comes back up to challenges when the sun enters Gemini around the 20th or 21st. That's the roller coaster of May. And a lot of this, because Mars and Venus are involved in these transits, will have to do with your emotional life, your immediate family, your friends, your loved ones, and how you may be at odds with them, or if you're not at odds with them, you have to watch out for people that try and dull your shine, as the phrase goes. On the 22nd, we have Venus in Cancer squaring Chiron in Aries, so you might find that you're more sensitive to what people say. On the 23rd, we've got the moon conjunct Venus in Cancer, so it's all about feeling good, creature comfort, spending time with friends and loved ones, and basically just enjoying things. You might also find you get some good fortune coming your way with regards to money. So it wouldn't be something like winning the lottery, it'd be more like finding 20 bucks on the side. On the 24th, we've got the moon conjunct Mars in Leo, so more energy will be at your disposal, but you also might find that if people oppose you, you've got a shorter than normal temper. And also on that day, that conjunction squares Jupiter in Taurus. So you might find that your ego stops you from moving ahead in new ways. You might also find that your ego prevents a lot of consciousness expansion. And on this day, because of those transits, we got another fixed sign T-square. The moon in Mars, Pluto in Aquarius, and Jupiter in the North Node in Taurus. So this may manifest as being torn between doing what you have to do to survive in the physical world versus your spiritual growth and how you're moving forward. On the 25th, we got the moon in Leo trining Chiron in Aries, so it's a good day for healing, especially psychological healing. The 26th is nice and quiet. The 27th is the sun in Gemini sextiling Mars in Leo, and that same sun in Gemini squaring the moon in Virgo, and that moon in Virgo opposing Saturn in Pisces. So that's a real astrology's way of saying that the 27th, it's going to be good if you got the energy, the creativity, and you need to make contacts with people. But internally, there might be a lot of turmoil, and a lot of that turmoil might have to do with recognizing where you are and where you're going versus stopping yourself from your mind being your greatest enemy. Things such as micromanaging would be a danger to avoid here. On the 28th, we've got the moon in Virgo square Venus in Cancer. So watch for your emotional state to be kind of shaken up. In particular, this would be something like you want to do something fun that's intellectually stimulating, but maybe your partner just wants to lounge on the couch and cuddle. Also on this day, we've got Mars in Leo squaring Jupiter in Taurus. So we return to that theme of your ego getting in the way of your discipline and your routine, and thereby short-circuiting your chances for success and good fortune. On the 29th, we come back to that moon in Libra that we had towards the beginning of the month, but this time it's trining the sun in Gemini. So it's a good day for inspiration. And it's also trining Pluto in Aquarius. So we've got a grand air trine that day. So it's a good time for inspiration. It's a good time for laying the groundwork with networking to get things done. It's also a good day to just lose yourself in your mind, in your imagination, and see what inner journeys you can take. On the 30th, we've got the Sun square Saturn, so you may find that through duplicitous speech, it brings karma upon yourself because you forgot the spirituality of things, or perhaps you are talking a mile a minute and other people are not listening to you because they just can't keep up. Hate to say it, sometimes that happens. And on the 31st, we've got the moon in Libra squaring Venus in Cancer. So we begin the month with an emphasis on the moon squaring Venus, and we end the month with the moon squaring Venus. And in between, we got a whole bunch of T-squares. We've got a whole bunch of grand trines. We got a whole bunch of roller coaster activity. So if you're looking for May to slow down, ain't gonna happen. Try again in June. May is going to be just as eventful as the last few months have been. So I hope you're ready. A lot of these themes have to do with discipline, have to do with living your spirituality, have to do with emotional investments, as well as spiritual goals. So to assist you with this, of course, there's this video. I will be continuing to do daily horoscopes on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Monthly horoscopes will be on my website, the Pathways website, and the website of Heart, Body, and Soul. And thank you to Adam Knox and the Cult of You for putting this together and putting it out there. And just remember, however rocky or smooth May is for you, that this too shall pass. Anyway, until we chat again, may we all receive blessings of good health, prosperity, and success as we move forward in the next month of our lives.
I've always felt a little different. A little uneasy between regular folk, a bit of a dreamer, a lost cause, a little non-ordinary, some would say. I think I've always just been this way. My mother said I was special, my father thought I should be feared. But I knew that witchcraft coursed through my veins the first time I tasted the lips of the goddess inside the rain. Yes, I'm a witch, it's true. And sure, we are the ones who believe in the beauty of nature, who believe in the things science, absent of art, cannot explain, who instead of religion would have romance. And sure, you may think we have lost our way, when in the world of predictable things we have such unfamiliar things that we would like to say. But maybe, in a world so cold and alone, a little unfamiliar is exactly what is needed to show us the way home.